I'm Michael Swinwood, lawyer with Elders Without Borders. Presently, we're working on a case on behalf of the hunters and fishermen up in the Nipissing First Nation in the territory just around North Bay, Sturgeon Falls, Field, all the way up to Sault Ste. Marie. And so we have an upcoming trial on May the 10th. It's a continuation of the trial as against the hunters and fishermen. And at this trial, we're going to put forward the story, the actual, real Indigenous title story of the territory. And at the present time, we have experts working away to give us expert reports in relation to the territory and the historical perspective as to the title holders and the proper title holders. We really need your help right now because we have no resources, and we're desperate to pay our experts in order to bring forward the reports that are required for these trials. We also have the cannabis matter that has been ongoing throughout Sault Ste. Marie, all the way through to Shawanaga, Parry Sound, all throughout Georgian Bay. And it's time now for those who are participating in those undertakings and those trials to come forward and help us with resources. We need resources in order to retain experts, in order to provide proof to the court as to the true nature of the Indigenous title in this territory and the idea that the Indigenous people in this territory are sovereign and can practice their own laws, traditions, and customs. Please reach out and help us. Thank you.
Can you give me a sense of which experts you're using and how much you need to pay them? And why are the experts needed in the first place?
Well, yeah, the experts are needed because you have to establish an evidentiary base regarding the assertion of title, essentially, because we're defending all of these charges on the basis that this is Indigenous territory, unceded, unsurrendered, that the Robertson-Huron Treaty of 1850 is not applicable. As soon as I say that, I have to be able to prove it. In order to prove it, the courts require that I bring forward historians who have a specialty in looking back at history and being able to establish what it is that we're saying. So these experts must be retained in order for them to provide reports. At the present time, we have two experts that we believe are going to be in need of a minimum of $10,000, which is $5,000 each, of course, but it could be more, and that's why we're making this plea. We do not have any resources.
And what do the experts produce?
They produce expert reports that are then brought before the court, and they are cross-examined on those reports, and then the evidentiary record, if you will, is made so that the judge then, from that evidence, can make a determination. The province and the feds also have to engage in the same undertaking, but let's just put it in perspective here. There's also already a 416-page report that Ontario provided in the case involving the fishermen, and they must have paid $200,000 for the report. I'm not exaggerating when I say that, $200,000. And yet here we are pleading for resources in order to put an evidentiary record before the court to contest the folly that comes from the other expert reports. And I have to say folly because history is written by the dominant society. It's certainly not written on behalf of the Indigenous people. That's why it's so challenging.
Are people going to be able to read the expert reports that are produced before the...
Absolutely. It's a matter of public record once they're filed.
Okay. And can they read the government report that was produced, or is that still...
Yes.
That's now public?
Yeah, they can read it. Stacey has access to all of it. I think it's on his website.
Okay, and they can make their contributions at the White Buffalo Lodge or to where or for Stacey to pick up.
White Buffalo Lodge and Elders Without Borders. Elders Without Borders has its own website now, so we'll put some stuff up there in relation to this. So Elders Without Borders also has a GoFundMe campaign right now. So it can all flow through the Elders Without Borders website, elderswithoutborders.ca.
Okay, or if it's cash, then we can collect it and get it to Stacy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect. And can you just mention something about this? Could you break down what is happening on May 10th, and also the number of lawyers that you're up against, the kind of team that Canada's fielding?
Well, okay, there's two separate things there. Number one, in relation to the Hunters and Fisher case, that's one thing. Resuming on May 10th is the presentation of our defense. So in making our presentation of our defense, we're putting forward a constitutional question that says these people have the right to hunt and fish in there without restriction. So we're putting forward our expert evidence, and also Stacy McQuabi will be testifying. We're going to have a genealogist testify, and I'm hoping that we might convince Bell to testify in relation to Section 25. So if we can, you might want to speak to him about that for sure, Tom, because we would, the first opportunity that you can, please ask him if he would be prepared to testify in this trial. So it resumes on May 10th, and it's scheduled for that whole week, and it's the presentation of our case. I doubt that we'll make it to the end of the week but I don't think we'll finish in 1 week. However, that's what's set, May 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th.
And can people watch the trial? Can people watch the trial on Zoom?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely they can. And there's two lawyers from the Ministry of Natural Resources that we have there. In the cannabis matter, which is being a case managed by a judge in Sudbury, there are 8 lawyers, some from Canada and some from the province of Ontario. And we continue to have our case management leading towards a trial, which the trial of May 10th is going to heavily influence, because the experts are going to be pretty well the same in relation to the territory, but we need yet to retain an expert on cannabis.